Support for Radio Friends comes from Labrunerie Financial, where they work to ensure a lifetime of financial security for people from all walks of life, from investment services to retirement plans. If you're looking for a trustworthy company that has the experience and knowledge to put your interests first, contact Labrunerie Financial, a community-based investment counseling firm since 1966. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, August the 30th. My friend Gary Wunder is with us today from the National Federation for the Blind. It's always a pleasure to have you here, Gary. And we were going to deal with several different topics that you wanted to touch on. The first of all, what is that?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about blind people and being diabetic. Blindness is one of the leading causes of diabetes, and people are really struck for a loop. They don't really know what to do. Of course, you've got to change your diet when you're a diabetic, and that means doing more cooking on your own. It means giving up packaged goods, eating the sugary pies, eating the things that got you to be diabetic in the first place.
So you're saying that blindness is one of the leading causes of diabetes?
Just about. Diabetes is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you realize that you've got diabetes, there are lots of bad things that can come from it, and one of them, if you don't get pretty quick intervention, is blindness. And it can be loss of sense of touch. If you lose enough sensitivity in your feet, it can even be balance and other things. So there are lots of reasons when you learn that you are getting high blood sugar readings to aggressively change your diet and take what medication they suggest that you take.
Now, that's not what caused your blindness.
It is not what caused my blindness, but I managed to get diabetes anyway. I ate my way to it.
Okay. So, what do you've got diabetes and you're blind. How do you handle that?
Well, too many people have been shipped off to nursing homes because they figure that they can't do things like measuring their blood sugar. You can't figure out how much of a dose of medication to give if you can't check your blood sugar. Well, we've got talking blood glucose meters now, and traditionally it's meant taking your finger and squeezing it until you get the blood up, and then stabbing your finger with to draw blood, and then taking this little blood strip and trying to find that spot of blood on your finger and getting it to read. Now, if you don't get enough of it on the spot, you got to stab yourself all over again, and you got to use another strip, and it can be a real problem. We have gotten recently something called a glucose monitor. And the glucose monitor has a sensor right here. I see
it right there. You wear it on your arm.
Yes. You put it in and it lasts for 2 weeks. The one I use lasts 2 weeks. And then I take my phone
9:10 a.m.
and I'll raise the volume.
So you've got an app on your phone.
Button.
Yep. And now I'm going to tell it to scan my sensor.
Ready to scan.
Okay.
Scan complete. Libre link. Back my glucose sensor icon. 124.
What?
124.
So what does that mean?
It means that I am well within range. If it were much above 140, I would be worried. If it were down below 80, I would worry. The great thing about this one is, believe that or not, doing that scan didn't hurt a bit.
Right.
It's not at all like the finger stick. It's not as questionable as, am I going to get enough on the strip? So now if I wanted to, I could administer insulin to drop that blood sugar level. I could use fast-acting insulin or slow-acting insulin.
So you would administer the insulin yourself?
Right.
You would give yourself a shot?
Yes. Exactly.
And how do you give yourself a shot being blind?
Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out, okay, how much insulin do I need? And do I want fast-acting or slow-acting? And that means you have to in some way label the insulin so you know. Then you take something called a click pen and you dip it into the insulin and you turn it X number of clicks to get however much of a dose that you want. It has a needle on the end of it, and once you've counted up 10 clicks, then you take it and you give yourself a shot in the stomach.
Now, you've got to have a lot of confidence in yourself doing this, not being able to see what you're doing, but using your sense of hearing and touch to be able to administer the insulin injection to yourself.
I agree. But I think that the confidence has to be all the way around. You know, the confidence has to be, as a blind person, I can still do a lot of things. I can still get here. I can still go home. I can still travel. I can still cook, even though I have hot surfaces. So in one sense, my fear of needles is separate and apart from my fear of being blind and dealing with needles, if you get what I mean.
Yes, I do. And just to clarify, both you and your wife are blind.
We are.
You live alone. You and your wife live in your house.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself, cooking yourself.
Yep.
And you told me you're going to go traveling very soon.
Oh, yes. We're going to go to Baltimore for almost a week.
And you travel on your own.
We do.
Both of you being blind.
Yeah, we do. We take the dog along, but he doesn't give shots.
Okay.
So.
All right. The one other thing I wanted to ask you before we are out of time. Now, that insulin that you... What do you call it? Insulin patch that you have on you?
Oh, no, it's a blood glucose sensor.
Okay, a blood glucose sensor. Can anybody use that, have that, or is it only for blind people?
No, anybody can have it. It comes with its own reader. You can use the phone app if you want. And
so you could ask your doctor for it.
Exactly.
And then you don't have to keep...
Exactly. You don't have to do the blood sticks all the time. We're going to have a Meet the Blind month in October, and on October the 29th, we're going to have a Zoom meeting that everybody can be invited to, and we're going to show people a lot about this technique and many, many others, so that you don't have to come to anything. All you have to do is Zoom into our room. We're going to show a little movie on blindness, and then we're going to show a lot of techniques like how do you do the shot? How do you check your blood sugar? How do you do simple things like if you can't see, how do you pour coffee? How do you scramble eggs? How do you cook bacon? You know, just lots of things.
I just find that fascinating, Gary. That your independence is very enlightening, and it makes us realize that those of us who are sighted and we gripe and complain about so many things, we really shouldn't be.
That's probably right. I think that blind people gripe about things that we shouldn't be griping about either, but I don't think we should take the independence for granted, the techniques.
You know what, Gary, we're out of time, but I want you to come back again because you are an inspiration to all of us. If people want more information, is there a website they can go to?
Yes, NFBMO, National Federation of the Blind of Missouri.org. And our phone number, of course, is on your screen at 573-874-1774.
Okay, 573-874-1774.
And please look for our event. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Gary. Pleasure having you here. Something you'd like to hear or see, I'd love to hear from you. Pepper P, Missouri.edu. Bye-bye.